Good morning. It is 6:42 a.m. on January 21st, 2020. I'm Christiana Ellis. Excuse me, burp. This is 5 more minutes. Uh, I'm a little distracted because just briefly glancing at Twitter before recording this, I saw a little meme or whatever that was a whole bunch of different uh, sleeping positions, and it was like, tag yourself, which one are you, and like which position you sleep in. But like, okay, sure, that's maybe somewhat interesting, but what distracted me more is that of the 20 positions displayed, 17 of them were clearly a photograph of a man in pajamas, but someone had replaced 3 of those with an illustration of a woman in a nightie. And I'm just like, I'm intrigued because on the one hand, like, why though? Why? They're so clearly from different sources. So someone decided to replace some of the photos with an illustration, and maybe it was just a matter of they found those 3 illustrations of the woman and just replaced the matching ones of like, but why? Anyway, it's not important, I guess. On Sunday, I went to go see 1917, which is one of the movies nominated for a bunch of Oscars this season. It is directed by Sam Mendes, and it takes place during the, World War One, and it has kind of a conceit where it uses effects to give the impression that the whole thing is filmed in one long continuous take, when of course, I mean, I shouldn't say of course, there absolutely are movies that are actually filmed that way, which is a breathtaking accomplishment. This one is not, like it's using tricks to give that impression, but it's also doing a lot of really, elaborate stuff that, would be very difficult to accomplish any other way. What I will say about that whole conceit, the one take thing, is that it is in some sequences very effective and really interesting and compelling, but occasionally the seams show a little bit. Not that it's like there's only 2 moments in particular where, when I say the seams show, I mean it's really obvious that there was a break there. But um, even in those cases, it's not like I spotted it. It was like, oh, the main character gets knocked unconscious, and so the screen goes black. And when he wakes up, it's hours later, right? Like, that's what I mean. But the point I'm trying to make is that there are times where I was distracted and pulled out of the story by thoughts of, those 2 locations don't seem like they're within a 5 minute walk to me. And just feeling like, it's almost more of like a dreamlike montage sort of thing, which is probably part of what, the effect they're going for. That, like in a dream, that's frequently how it goes, right? You'll be in one location and then you'll be in another location, and it'll feel like you just easily made the transition, even though, in real life they wouldn't be that close. But so maybe that's part of what it was going for, but for me it was occasionally kind of distracting and just made me think about that instead of the story. But that said, I think that the movie does a lot of things really, really well. Um, the story itself is pretty standard stuff from a war movie perspective. You know, facing adversity and danger to save your buddies and all of that stuff. There's not a lot of, in fact, I would say there's no discussion whatsoever about um, like the actual like history or political circumstances surrounding like why did the war start, what's going on there. There, the enemy is pretty faceless most of the time. There's not a lot of discussion about that. Uh, but it's pretty standard war movie stuff, but it's well told in that regard. I think I said in my tweet review that it was a well told tour through all the tropes, and I think that's pretty accurate. But the performances are good. The one take conceit is kind of neat in several places. The you know the all the production design is pretty good. The cinematography is extremely good. Performances are good. I got emotional in it, and overall, I think it's worth seeing. I think it is. I wouldn't necessarily say that I think it's the movie that you should see in the theater, but I think generally speaking, it will shine more there. Its strengths will shine more in the theater. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. I think I think if you are, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's it's an extremely technically interesting standard war movie. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.